What is going on, guys? My name is Lextasy and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. And today we're going to be talking about my 1,000 horsepower, well, my wife's 1,000 horsepower Dodge Durango Hellcat. Yes, it's got a lot of work done to it already, but this is the cold air intake from Legmaker. That should have been the very first mod that I did on it. Honestly, you can do this on any supercharged Hemi, and honestly, not even supercharged. It doesn't matter. As long as it's got a big V8 motor in it, it's going to change the way it sounds. Charger, Challenger, Trackhawk, Durango, it does not matter. You got a V8 in there, especially supercharged, definitely do this mod. It takes barely any work, super simple, super quick installation. It makes the supercharger whine so much more aggressive, so much brutal and loud, which I personally prefer more than the sound of the exhaust. So without further ado, guys, let's get this video going. So I know a lot of you guys have been asking and will be asking, of course, what is done to the Durango to make it to 1,000 horsepower, which we literally just picked up, I don't know, about a week ago from today, actually. It's basically the base mods that you can do on any Hellcat. That's just doing the pulley, pinning the crank, the belt, injectors, E85 system. Basically, that's all it takes. So yes, we got a whole ton of E85 here sitting next to the GTR because, well, the GTR is going on E85 as well, and we're building a 1,000 horsepower F-150. So like I said, it is 1,000 horsepower at crank or 830 wheel, which is insane for this 5,000 pound SUV. That's all-wheel drive, which makes the biggest difference. As you can tell, we're missing a big feature here that we did on our Hellcat Charger, our Redeye Charger. We did it on the Trackhawk as well, and that's having an intake, because right now the sound of the whine is good. Don't get me wrong, sounds amazing, but it can be improved tremendously with just like a $400 upgrade, which is the Legmaker Intake, which we have in this box just now that came in. By the way, these are the TOYO PROXES 8RRR or 888R that just came in that are going on this thing, because this is going to be our track car. It is going to be a drag strip car. It's a monster, guys. It literally runs 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds, and because of that, these Pirelli stock tires are not doing their job, so we do have a set of wheels coming for it. But let's go ahead and open this box that has a lot of special goodies in there. So what I like about Legmaker Intake, and I bought, quite honestly, a ton of them already. I know this is not sponsored, but I just love the product. It's how they do everything. Oh, is this oh my god, that had me scared. I thought it was cracked. I was like, no. So this is the cover that they put for the intake itself, because as you know, it does have hood here that's functioning hood. So this is for of course venting out the heat, but it sits right above the intake. So if we leave that open, the water is going to get right on the intake and suck into the motor. So we can't have that, because we're not trying to hydrolock our engine that you probably can't get another one of. So we got the cover here. Everything is super clean and wrapped correctly, and of course you got the custom carbon fiber intake. That is true carbon fiber, which I love the look of it. It looks amazing, especially in that high gloss that they do. You got the clam or the rubber hose or whatever it's called, rubber not the clam, Jesus, I can't talk today, the rubber piping, whatever you want to say. And we do have the clamps here with our Legmaker sticker, which we'll probably slap on there as well under the hood. Yes, we do that on every build. And we have the filter itself. So super simple install, guys. It literally does not take much at all. So this is new though, so this is some sort of a hose, I guess, for rerouting probably the PCV pipe or the evap pipe. So we'll be learning on that one, but again, it should take just a few minutes to install this. But before we install the intake, guys, let's take it on the quick little trip just for you guys to hear how the stock engine sounds, the stock intake sounds. Just because it's built, it doesn't really change the sound of the whine. Now the motor, you can't feel it shaking the car because it's got more power pushing out of it, but the intake sound is about the same as a stock one. So you get a good understanding and feeling as to what it sounds like when you buy a Hellcat in the first place, which, don't get me wrong, is amazing. By the way, SRT V8s are going away, so grab one if you can, because the prices are going to be skyrocketing. They only made like 3,300, 3,400 of these Durangos, and there's a few already wrecked, so the numbers are dropping and the prices are going up. Anyways, guys, let's hop in the Durango and go. Alrighty, guys, let's get this thing on the road, leaving the subdivision very quietly and peacefully, because we do not destroy the peace, at least not in my neighborhood, so they'll get mad. So right now, I'm going to drive with the windows closed and then with the windows open, so you can kind of hear it a little bit better from the outside. But what I love about the superchargers on the Hellcats is that the whine starts super early. Like, I'm doing 1,500 RPM, and you can hear it. It's such a great car. Like, I just love Mopars overall. I mean, anybody that's watching this video clearly clicked on it because they're interested in Mopar. So I applaud you for that, because you're making the right choice, man. These Hellcat motors are amazing. So is the transmission. Freaking love it, man. It's like the orchestra, dude. You just want to listen to it, man. It's like your favorite song that plays over and over, and you're fine with it because it never gets old. That's what it feels like driving a Hellcat. I'm telling you guys, I'm not making this up. Just driving it normally, doing about 40, 50 on these back roads. But let's mash it real quick, see what that sounds like. Golly. Okay, well, there's the 1,000 horsepower. and stuff is flying everywhere. But you can hear the supercharger, it's not bad. Let's open the windows. All right, guys, let's take this back road here. Windows down, let's listen to the glorious sound. That's awesome. If you want to get the same work done and make your life a lot more funner, go to Mass Acceleration Motorsports in Denver, North Carolina, and let them work on your Mopar or your LS for that matter. But you can hear this thing sounds amazing. It's super rowdy, but the supercharger noise is actually amazing. Here's the thing that I love about why I like the sound of an intake, especially on the supercharger more than the exhaust. And that's because, like, exhaust wise, it gets annoying after some time, especially when it's always like just loud in the back. You can't control it. Yes, even with the valves, it's still really freaking annoying. But with the intake, it's just awesome because you know you got something under the hood. But whenever you're driving by somewhere, like on this 4-lane road, like past the gas station or at Walmart or Ingles, whatever, like people are like, what is that sound? They're trying to figure out what's coming by because exhaust is like, oh my god, that guy's so annoying, closing your ears. But when it's a supercharger whining, anybody that's even little familiar with the sports world, the sports car world, knows that dude means business. But they're like looking for like, oh okay, it's a Hellcat. I don't see anything, and you already passed them because you're in the Durango Hellcat. So with the 1,000 horsepower, that's the cool thing about it. Let's get back to the garage. Let's slap on this intake and see what the difference is, guys. All right, guys, so as I'm coming up and actually kind of exploring and looking how everything is done, the intake itself looks exactly the same on every Hellcat because the motor is exactly the same. Just the positioning of the intake itself is different depending on how much space you have under the hood. In this case, in the Durango, it is a little bit interesting because you always have two things on the intake side whenever it comes to swapping one out. You got the IAT or the intake air temp sensor, always the same positioning. It's literally just a little sensor that kind of sticks inside there. They will unhook first and then we'll pull out later and reuse. And then the second one, what you have is called the PCV valve or the emission valve. So pretty much it's like a hose that literally feeds the exhaust gases back into the intake, recirculates through the motor to make it more emissions compliant. But in this case, they have something really cool. It's kind of like a big sensor that's built into the intake, which I've never seen before. Normally, I figured you would probably not reuse it, but I see there's a sensor in here, so I know it's going to have to be reused some point of the process. So I don't know how that's going to work because I see on this intake side, both holes are on this side here really close to the motor. So I don't know how this is going to be when it's so far away. So I'm guessing there's some sort of bracket that's going to be having to be used, I guess, to hold it in that position. Then maybe a hose that they provided, which makes more sense now, will kind of reposition the PCV back into the intake on the carbon fiber intake. So also when it comes to this bracket, I'm kind of just learning as I go, to be honest with you, but it looks like it's going to sit in here. So this piece right here, this plastic piece with two little pop-outs clips are going to be something we're going to have to take off in order to place this in there. So that kind of makes sense positioning wise. We're going to have to reuse that. Not a big deal at all. So we'll get that going. The cool thing about this whole process is that it doesn't take a lot of tools, honestly. All you need is a flathead screwdriver, of course, to do the clamps, I guess, for the intake side and the throttle body side of things. So we're actually going to go ahead and take this off real quick, and then we're going to take this one off, loosen it up so we're able to slide the intake off of the throttle body. And then let's pop these clips here. Should be pretty simple. Boom, there's one. You want to kind of release this one backwards and then slide it off. Hit the side step. There you go. There's that one. This one is, I think you just press it on both sides with my fat hands, but I should be able to do it. And then boom, there's the PCV valve itself that feeds the, I think it just literally pops out now at this point. To be honest with you, I don't think there's anything that's really going to be holding it in place. There's that side looking clean, which is always a good sign. Let me put you guys down real quick and see if I can slide this out already. Probably just has those little prongs that kind of clip in there and holding it in place. Yes, there. Okay, there's that. Now be careful not to break the windshield or windshield sprayer tank. It's very close to the intake itself. You want to break that and cause more issues, but wow, okay, well, that was simple. Literally, it's been like 15, maybe 10 seconds of us unclipping sensors, and we're already done with this process. A lot of space in here, honestly, which is awesome. So this thing we're gonna have to reuse, so I'm guessing what I'm gonna have to do, but I'm gonna use like a razor, maybe something sharp, and just kind of cut these off, cut it off, and then just pop this out real quick and see how long that takes. So give me a second, let me grab a little razor. We'll start cutting. Always aim the blade towards yourself. Totally kidding, but very well. Oh, there's one little box cutter. Oh, Jesus, okay, that did its job. There's that. So let's see if it just kind of pops out now. Yeah, it does. Wow. So there is a little O-ring on here I'm noticing. I don't know if we're going to reuse that for our hose. So the hose, I'm guessing this goes right back into the intake. So the hose probably goes on the side like that somehow. So we're gonna figure that out real quick. Shouldn't be that hard. So let's get this intake off. We're literally done with this. So if anybody's looking for one, I got an intake here. And also this little intake air temp sensor, we're just gonna go ahead and slowly and very lightly wiggle it out of there because I am not trying to break one of these. And there it is. So like I said, guys, it's just a very, very small sensor with a little thing in there, I guess, to read the temp sense. So it's pretty cool. I don't know how to explain it. All right, so as you can tell, we do have a lot of more space in here to play with, but like I said, this does look like it kind of routes away from where the other hole is on the intake. Let me show you what I mean by that, because God, look at that carbon fiber, guys. That is legit as it gets. Yes, that is true woven carbon fiber. But as you can tell, like I said, both sensors are here, so that's a little bit routed away from it. So I'm guessing that hose is what's going to reroute it back. Not a big deal. Let's put this to the side. Let's go ahead and get these two pop-up clips out of here, because clearly we're going to have to use these spots. Why do I always... Wait for it. Nope, didn't hear it hit the ground, so that's not a good sign. There's one lost. It's okay. Good thing we have a whole packet of them, because I'm not very good at keeping these from... Let's just put a finger over it so maybe it behaves itself. There we go. God dang, okay. At least we found that one. All right, it's okay. 1 for 2 is not too bad, right, guys? Stay positive. Totally not my first time to... Are you kidding me? How? How does that happen? We'll put that one to the side, the only one we got left. Please don't be like me. I'm guessing this plastic piece, yeah, literally just pops right out. Just kind of raise the little cover here. It's got a clip on it, I guess. Yeah. Yep. We're going to slide that. Jeez, man, if I lose everything, it's going to be bad. All right, we'll put that to the side. I see this little piece here. I don't think we need it. That's for the intake too. Looks like there is a sensor clip to us. We just got to pop that out with our little clipper. Hopefully we don't damage it, so be careful there, guys. Make sure you get that wire. I guess it's got like a clip to it just for the way they have everything routed onto this. Oh yeah, you're pulling on the wrong spot, idiot. Here we go. And pop it out of the little hole that is holding it in place. You know, this would be a lot easier if I had both of my hands, but it's okay. It's all about the learning process. There it goes. So let's take this piece out. So this is pretty much like for guidance of the intake. We don't need that either. That's all going to the side. We'll probably sell it or something, I don't know. So we'll have a lot more space to work with. All right, so first things first, guys, let's go ahead and put the IAT sensor back in here just to kind of start putting everything back together. I do recommend putting a little bit of some sort of lubricant or whatever to keep, because there's an O-ring, for example, on this one that actually popped off this spot where it's supposed to be at. So make sure you don't lose those, because you do want everything to be back in its spot. What I honestly do, and yes, this engine is still hot because we just came back from that drive, but I'm just going to put a little bit of oil on my finger and use that to lubricate while we put stuff back on. All right, here we go. Lubricating the O-ring. Let's put it back in here and kind of wiggle it around. Pretty much supposed to slide almost all the way in, not as far as it was in the stock. Should be good for what we're doing. IATs won't blow out of the intake, hopefully. All right, so we got the little I guess the O-ring back in there, so everything is good. Now let's go ahead and focus on the sensor, because that's kind of worrying me. I want to make sure I do this right. I am not trying to screw it up in any sort of way. So I'm guessing this PCV valve is just going to clip right in here back to where it was, and it's going to stay away from the motor, because I don't think we could cramp this all the way back to get it to that side of the intake. And then that's what that hose is for, because that 90 degree is going to plug into this side of the PCV valve and then route all the way back to this little nozzle here, 90 degree, because it looks like it does rotate. So that's what was going to happen. I'm guessing we can cut this hose to adjust the length that we need it for. I'm guessing there's got to be something holding it, right? Or else there's going to be a bracket for it, or is it just going to hang? So let's see if we have anything in here. Funny I should say that. Okay, so there is a bracket here. Kind of makes sense. Very lightweight though, doesn't weigh anything at all. So I'm guessing, oh, it's good. So it's got 3 holes here, and then it's got 3 holes there. So I'm guessing it's going to somehow slide in here. I'm going to take the bolts off of this, which is pretty cool that they include that as well. So I'm guessing it's going to hook up somewhere on the strut tower brace here. One of these bolts probably is going to be holding it. Probably, I'm guessing that one. Let me get the bolts on. Let me play with this. Figure out how it goes on there, and I will update you guys in one quick second. Alrighty, guys. So we got the PCV sensor valve, whatever you want to call it, finally installed. It threw me off because the whole time I was trying to place it like this way, and I was like, man, it is not working out, because this pipe, I guess, or whatever that's supposed to plug in here is facing the completely opposite way. So there's literally no way you can mess this up, guys. So don't think that because, you know, it literally there's 2 holes in one part and then just one on the back side. Out, that's a hot motor. That sucked. And yeah, so you can't really screw this up, guys. And this is the correct way to put it. Looks like that way the hose and everything, the pipes are facing the correct way. And then looks like we're actually gonna have to take the hose and slide it underneath, and I guess kind of just corner it or round it up, and then take it all the way around to the intake side. So literally the cool thing about it is there's no way to screw this up. It's all done the right way, so it's literally just plug and play. I'm just gonna have to play with this a little bit. Just like I said, it's plug and play, so you have to adjust a few things. So let me hook in the hose real quick, save you the time of looking at me trying to finesse this in there, and then we'll start installing the intake and go from there. All right, so as soon as I turn the camera off, I literally figured it out, because the cool thing about it is this rotates on itself, so you can actually adjust the whole angle. So you can literally adjust which way it faces, which makes it super simple, because you can actually just kind of adjust the angle of it, and then just pop it right in here, and clips there. Clip this right back like it was before. Boom, clip, lock it in, and that's done there, facing the right way. Nothing's in the way. Let's adjust this little wiring there, make sure it's not crimped or you know, really under a lot of stress or tension. So that's all done, it's all bolted in. Next step is the intake, so let's grab the clamps real quick and do that. Super simple, guys, actually. That's what I love doing this, because you don't need to pay a shop to do it or anything. You can do it yourself, honestly. So let's grab the rubber boot also here. Of course, looks like this is the big boy side, so that goes and slides up in here. Now you do want to put a little bit of W2 if you really need to, if it's too tight on there, to make sure it's all right, but we're good. So we'll slide that on there. Make sure all the clamps are facing the right way, or else it just looks kind of ugly. So we're going to slide that there, and then put this clamp on this side of the intake. Oh guys, this is gonna be so amazing. I need a good 20-30 minutes with a video like this. It shouldn't take you more than, honestly, 10 to 15 if you got all the parts with you, which you don't need much parts anyway. So all right, everything is here. Let's go ahead and plug it in on the throttle body side, which it slides right in. Super easy and simple. And then go ahead and slide the intake on here as well. And of course you want to play with the adjustment as well, make sure everything is sitting right. So we're gonna lightly thread this down. Looks like we need a 10mm. All right guys, so keep in mind, one thing I want to say when you're tightening this down, and that way you don't screw this up in case I do, is that this is carbon fiber, right? Carbon fiber together is a very strong and rigid unit. That's why they use the, I mean, they literally make Lamborghinis out of carbon fiber, like the body and the chassis and everything, the shell. But if one part of it cracks, that's why I'll never put a drive shaft that's carbon fiber. It literally will crack this very easy. So do not put too much tension on this. You probably shouldn't even do it with a actually, I'm not going to do it with the drill, since I'm going to practice what I preach, as they say out there. We'll put the 10mm on here and start tightening slowly. You don't want to tighten too much right now, because you're just mocking it for this point and making sure everything fits correctly. And you can do the rest of the tightening later on. It doesn't have to happen now. Okay, that's not going anywhere. Now let's do this intake side. So let's rotate this around a little bit. Putting WD would be nice on here, but of course I didn't do that, did I? No. Make sure this is done right. Go ahead and tighten this one down as well. And then we'll apply the filter, or put the filter on there and see what that looks like. And since we got this IAT already plugged in, might as well just go ahead and plug the sensor. Just kind of slowly start. So as you can tell, it's not reaching, so we're gonna have to rotate the intake a little bit. That's why we mock things for now. And you don't want to tighten everything down just yet. Let's go ahead and rotate it just a little bit so the sensor goes on there. In fact, let's do a little more than that. Go ahead and do it this way, looks like. Just rotate the sensor. That boy goes on there, we're good. The PCV is looking the right way pipe-wise. Let's tighten this down. The next part we want to run is this hose. So we got to make sure that it's positioned correctly, and that way it actually reaches the hose itself here on the intake side. So from what I can tell, it kind of glides right in there. Make sure you don't want to break it, so kind of slide on there, but be gentle, please. Now this one is going to be a little bit tight, so make sure you do it right. I feel like we need to cut this hose a little bit, because it's too long and it's putting a lot of tension on the unit itself. You know what? Let me do it this way. What if the 90° goes on the other side? I feel like, because it would make more sense, no? To slide the 90° in here, since it's coming from under. She needs some lube. All right, back to the engine oil we go. This little drip there in here. Gonna get it all around that hose. And let's go ahead and put that sucker back in there. Slide it in. Don't play with my feelings now, come on. There it goes. Almost there. It looks like, to be honest with you, there's an O-ring on here that we're going to slide up. It's like a brown O-ring. Let's take that sucker and slide it up on top of the PCV and get it out of the way, because we don't need it. This hose is very tight as it is. Let's get that on there. You just don't want to lose it in case you want to go back to stock. So what the heck did we do with the hose? Oh yeah, let's just drop it on the exhaust, genius, with the oil on it. Okay, here we go. Okay, and then we reroute this to the other side, which looks like is the right way to do it, guys. So that's probably what I would recommend. 90° to the back side where you rerouted the piece, and then look at that, it just slides right in. No clamps necessary. I'll show you what that looks like, guys, real quick, that we get a better sense of it. So hose goes right back to the PCV pipe on this side, 90°, and then route it all the way with the 90° like it's supposed to, and it goes right underneath the PCV itself there. So I don't keep saying PCV often, but that is I think the right way of saying it, so don't judge me. But the next step is to put, of course, the intake on, and we're pretty much done, guys. Do not, and I repeat, do not forget the clamp, because I've done that before and it's a pain to put this on anyway. So you definitely want to finesse it on here, as I was saying, so you make sure it's not rubbing on the not expansion tank, but the washer fluid tank. So we will have to adjust this, make sure the piping is correct on there. Let's go ahead and put this bad boy on. This is the one that takes a little bit of finessing. Best way I found to do that is kind of, you want to rotate it until it finally slides on both sides, and what I was saying, there it is. Okay, there it goes, guys. God, it looks so much better. I mean, come on now. And since everything fits, guys, and we got it routed the way we want to, we could go ahead and start tightening stuff down. And just like that, guys, our Legmaker carbon fiber, fully carbon fiber intake is in for our Hellcat Durango. As you can tell, everything is clamped in, everything is done right. We'll slide the sensor up in here. I adjusted a little bit to the side. There, we're officially done. Everything is clamped down, all the bolts. Make sure there is a little thing right here. I guess that was a guide for the intake box before. Make sure it's not rubbing on it, so that way it doesn't destroy the intake itself. And make sure the AC pipes aren't touching either. Everything is bolted down. So if you did this all correctly, whenever you bring this little shield or cover for, of course, the rain coming down or water coming down, if you went through a car wash, it should be able to kind of slide underneath here. Use the same line or hole there for the clamp, because, oh, luckily we only need one, so that's a good sign. I totally did the other stuff on purpose. And then on here, you the little guide, I guess that was for the intake as well, you do have a little bit of like a little bolt there or nut on the back side, so we'll just clamp it down in here. If you did it right, it should not really be rubbing much, maybe just a little there. So I'm going to adjust the intake itself, make sure nothing is rubbing. All right, guys, let me install the shield, and that's it, guys. We're done, and we're going to take it for a little spin and see how it sounds. Look at that little sneak peek of that intake. Way better. I love that blue filter too. And by the way, guys, before you start putting the cover on, please make sure you put the intake filter, I don't know, mesh thing on it as well. It does help to keep the big stuff off from getting sucked in through here or through anywhere else, and kind of getting inside those filter fins there. So it is a good little feature. I mean, you paid for it, so might as well put it on there, and it quite honestly looks pretty cool, I'll be honest. Not that you'll see it with the cover, but anyways, let's slap the cover on. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we are all done. Look at that carbon fiber on that intake. Golly, dude, I love that. Looks good. Everything's tightened down, clipped in, and I mean, literally looks like it was we never touched anything. All the hoses are routed correctly, everything's plugged in, nothing's sticking out. I mean, I love the fact that they even include a bracket. It makes it look like it's literally from factory, so nothing's going to be rubbing, nothing's going to be causing issues, so we are fine there, honestly. And we're all set, guys. You want to go ahead and start it, make sure that everything is good. So let's hop in here. This is the moment of truth to make sure no check engine lights come on, nothing comes on at all. Let's do it. Started like a stock factory Hellcat. Let's go, boys. Oh, I love the smell of V85. I swear, I can't get enough of it. Oh, you can really hear that whine, though. You can't say nothing about this. That is so freaking sick. Let's go ahead and get on the road, because I do want to see how it drives. Of course, driving's going to be fine, but I mean, like, the sound it makes and everything else, and we'll go from there, guys. So let's hop on the road and do a few little pulls. All right, guys, I can tell you this right off the bat. That whine I was hearing before, like at 1500, it starts as early as 1000 RPMs now. So it is a lot more apparent, I guess you can say. A lot more, I don't know how to say. God. Oh my God. Are you hearing this? That is so much better. Guys, I haven't adjusted volume. I haven't done nothing. Oh my goodness, that supercharger sounds good. And the windows are closed, like everything is closed right now, and it's so much louder. I freaking love this. Wow. And we're not even getting on it. That was like 2000 RPM. God, I love it. Oh my goodness, man. Wow, this sucker means business. It sounds so much better. Like I said, I'd rather hear this over the exhaust any day of the week. So let me Let me drop the window down, see if you guys can hear a little better. Because we're going downhill, but let me get on it. Ooh, baby. Oh my golly. First off, this car is just a rocket, but add the intake sound and the supercharger noise, man, you can't go wrong with this thing. It sounds so freaking good. I love it. I legitimately do. I would say it's about, like, on the Durango, probably good 30% I would say louder than what it is just stock, man. It sounds so freaking amazing. Okay, so this is just rolling. Let's go. It just makes everything like feel more alive, more energy, man. I don't know how to say it. Like, it adds to all that's happening already. That 1,000 horsepower, that torque you're feeling, the G-force, and now you got this insane supercharger just screaming like, oh my goodness, that is the best, literally the best mod you can do on one of these cars. Just Hellcat, anything, Redeye, Demon, especially probably Demon. I know Redeye screamed even louder because it's a 2.7 liter supercharger, so it's bigger, which means more airflow, which means it just sounds amazing. Sounds even better. But God, this thing is so cool. We're gonna do one more really good launch just to really hear that supercharger screw. I'm gonna have the windows down, and then we're gonna go home, and that's it, guys. I'm gonna go over all the tools I used, and that's about it. Let's go. Golly, man. That's just mind-boggling how fast this thing is. I mean, I know it's fast, but that intake just... Oh! Hey, I can't say it enough. Get yourself an intake. Just get yourself an intake. What's it gonna cost you? 400 bucks? It's so worth it, man. It just makes it feel so much more alive. You want to drive it daily anyway. It's not that my wife doesn't, but... Woo! That's amazing. All right, after a drive like that, you definitely want to get back and you want to check all the hoses, all the fittings, make sure everything is legit and good, nothing's came off, everything's still secure. As you can tell, everything's good here. Nothing is rubbing. That's the other thing you want to check. Make sure that there's no signs of rubbing from the intake or anything like that, because it is sitting right in this area, of course, because if you close it, you can definitely see the intake in there. Maybe you can't see it, but I can see the little filter and the little cover right in here. So that is so freaking cool. See, the cool thing and the best part about all this, guys, is that we didn't really need a lot of tools at all. All we needed was a 10mm, 9mm, 14mm, take the strut tower bolt off. We needed a T20 star for doing the little bracket for the tower brace, flathead screwdriver, and of course this to pop out the little push pins in to cut the little PCV valve off. I mean, just a few tools, guys, to do this job and to completely change the way your Hellcat sounds. So it's absolutely worth it, guys. Now, if you want to see this thing in action, whether it's in Mexico or actually the next video is at the drag strip, where we're going to be racing a 5,000 pound Durango Hellcat that does 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds. Don't tell nobody. Or if you want to see the GTR racing, or if you want to see the F-150 1,000 horsepower truck that we're building, a little short cab, regular bed, definitely drop a like, drop a comment, guys, because that's what this channel is all about. I mean, we're literally making soccer mom vans or SUVs fast, so we'll mess with it all, guys. So thank you so much, guys, for watching my content. I hope you enjoyed this intake video. We are going to be installing more parts on this because we're already spent $8,000 plus another $400 on this intake, but it's absolutely worth it. I will drop a link to Legmaker Intake in the comments down below or in the description. But enjoy your cars, enjoy your SUVs, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.